My name's Nick, and I'm glad that you've decided to click on this video because it shows that you're probably interested in about some of the gear I use. I've had loads of interest recently and comments in my videos about the equipment I use and the bass guitars and guitars that I use. So I thought I'd do a few videos just to basically go through what I use and what they're like, and maybe we can kind of start a discussion as to what you guys use too. I'm always interested to know, so please do leave a comment below if you want to show me your setup too. Right, so the bass I'm holding in my hand is my main bass. This is a Fender Custom Shop 1964 jazz bass in shell pink. Now, again, you're probably gonna think is, well, it's not 64 because it's got the old school concentric stack knobs on there. Yes, it is. This was a custom order spec from Peach Guitars in Colchester in the UK, where I'm from. And they basically spec'd it out. I think they wanted to kind of go for a kind of flea bass, kind of his signature bass look, because it originally came with a tortoiseshell guard on here. And to be honest, I don't really like the idea of signature basses, even though I use Les Pauls, which are like the first signature guitar. I basically changed it out and put a mint green guard on. And I know it doesn't look mint green, but when you kind of get closer, you get the idea on it. It just looks a bit more vintage and sort of something that kind of looks like an early 60s bass. So anyway, this is in shell pink and it's a nitrocellulose lacquer, which I absolutely love. I know a lot of people kind of say, oh, you can't hear the difference. I personally can. I've played a lot of mid-70s basses before. I had a 1975 jazz bass, which had the thickest lacquer, or should I say urethane lacquer, known to man. And it literally was just so thick, it didn't let the pickups breathe. It was a really pretty bass, but it just didn't do it for me. And I've tried several other kind of mid-70s basses that have had the same sort of feel to it. On this bass, you've got 64 custom shop pickups. You've got concentric stack knobs. So what that basically means is that you've got a volume for each pickup, and then you've got a tone for each pickup, which is what the little black ring at the bottom does. I don't know if you can hear, but it's basically like a preset kind of turning. It's not just like a wheel you turn really smoothly. It's a click to each part. So you can be quite specific about how you want things to sound. And it's really interesting because you could basically have like the tone off, or the tone quite halfway down on the bridge pickup, and then your tone wide open on the neck. So with these concentric stack knobs, you can get a really wide variety of different sounds that you wouldn't be able to get from your standard free knob configuration that you find on the jazz bass. So that's wicked. I know I've read interviews before with people like Jaco Pastorius and John Entwistle, and they'd said totally different things about these kind of circuits. John Entwistle thinks that the circuit in the concentric stack knob is better. It's got a bit more of a scoop to it, which he really preferred. But Jaco said that the free had a bit more of a punchier sound, and they both kind of preferred it and hated the other, if that makes sense. But no, I love it. I love both of them, to be honest. I can't really hear too much of a difference, if I'm honest. I've played loads of jazz basses in my time, and to be honest, this setup works for me. I can get some different sounds I wouldn't usually be able to get from my old jazz basses, which is great. So you can probably tell it's it's a roasted maple neck. So it looks really cool. It's got that kind of tanned look to it. But what that means is basically the necks are formed and then they're put like in a commercial kind of oven, and they're set in the oven so they don't move. And I've had no problems with the neck shifting on this at all. I mean, weather in the UK is so unpredictable sometimes. Even in the summer we get bloody snow. So it really does kind of stay true, and it stays straight as an arrow, which is just the way I like it on these ones. So yeah, it's got a laminated board, or laminate board should I say. So basically what that means is that it's like a veneer that's put on top, rather than like a really thick bit of rosewood. This is AAA Indian rosewood neck, and it's like a veneer that's put on. So I don't know if you can see, but it's a really, really thin bit of laminate veneer there. And they do sound differently. I think the thicker rosewoods they've got a bit more bass to them, whereas the thinner ones are a bit more focused. I've got a Music Man Stingray that's got a really thick kind of slab board, and that sounds great because it kind of complements the fact that it's got one pickup. It really kind of adds in that extra bass, whereas you've got a bit more scope for bass tones on a jazz bass with that neck pickup there. All in all, it's just a fantastic bass to play. It's my number one bass. I use it for a lot of soul and Motown gigs. So I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, why don't you use a P bass? Well, I do use a P bass, but I think you've got to really look at the room you're playing in sometimes and listen to it. Like sometimes if I'm in a really dead room, a P bass sounds amazing, but if you're in a big reverberant hall and you're trying to kind of tame the sounds down a bit, a P bass can sound too flabby, whereas a jazz bass kind of covers all grounds because you've got that Jacko sound in the bridge pickup, and then you've got kind of a P bass sound in the neck, and then obviously if you want to blend the two, you're winning, which is great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a few sound clips on this bass just so you can hear what it's like, and please leave a comment below if you have any questions about the bass or you want to know a bit more about what it sounds like and what pedals work great with it. Then let me know and I'll see if I can get back to you. Cheers.